Hi, welcome to Subcreation. I'm Nathan. I'm an artist and a designer, and this channel is about creative process. Tonight I'm going to be continuing working on a series of white charcoal drawings. I'm drawing animals on black paper. So here I will pull that up. Here you can see this is the reference there. And hold on one second while I just realized I got a little bit of honey on my hand when I was preparing my tea, so hold on just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Hi, Catlin. Thanks for joining. Oops. Oh, by the way, I posted my emotes to Twitch today, or my one emote, so we'll see if that's there. No, it looks like it's still under review because I'm not seeing it here, but hopefully by Sunday's stream I'll be able to debut the new emote. So back to this. Oh, I forgot to pull up. Just a sec, I need to pull up Twitch so I have the ability to watch the stream. Sorry, I was scrambling to get ready here and I just was a little behind. So how are you doing tonight, Catlin? Pop out. Great. Okay. That should do it. You're doing okay? Thanks for joining. All right. So I'll just jump in and continue work on. Actually, this needs a little bit of sharpening. A little nervous because I had a previous one of these. Oh dear. I need to figure out some way to keep this paper fixed up here. There we go. Everything, this desk I have is a little slanted and it just, everything kind of slides off of it gradually. Okay, so here we go. Pull this up a little bit so we have a little bit more view. I'm going to pull that back a little bit so we can see the dark a little bit better. Okay. So I'm just going to continue adding the light there. So, oh, I should also play some tunes. Forget, what did we decide that we named this horse? Was it Merv? I think Tiny Pachyderm named it Merv. Which makes me think of Murph, like the the girl in the movie Interstellar. Murphy would be a good name for a horse, but without Tiny Pachyderm weighing in, I don't think I will take the liberty to rename him. I think she said Merv. Let's try and put this very subtle highlighting on its nose. It looks very slightly furry, but not very much. Not as much as up there. It almost looks like it's velvet or something. Seems like it doesn't quite go all the way to black there, so I just need to bring it all the way up into this. There's a little bit of a regularity to the fur right here. These spots have a little more light on them. I really wanted to have that sense that when you see a horse's nose, or the bridge of its nose up close to you, you want to kind of like reach out and pet it. And I think getting the texture here just right will help you have that feeling when you look at it, which is part of the sensation I get from looking at it. So I'm trying to amplify the feelings that I get from it as much as possible, or at least make sure that I capture them properly, right? Like, this isn't that expressive of a drawing. It's fairly realistic. Yeah, it's pretty much just realistic. Not totally realistic, but it's kind of illustratorly, but erring on the side of favoring the reference. Okay, I need a little more. Oh, I should drink my tea here. Ah. All right. There we go. Not totally sharp, but I don't want to risk it. I wonder how long it takes for the new emotes to post. Kind of thought it would be on by now. Guess there's a review process. I posted it this morning though. Try and demonstrate a little bit more patience in my drawing, because previously I was doing a lot of speed exercises, and it would be nice. I should probably get back into the habit of doing warm-ups instead of just going right into the drawing like this, but nonetheless, as I'm working on a piece, I'm trying to be patient and build it up over time. Kind of sculpt it out and not expect it to go all that fast. I like to do a piece in a single night. That was the way I was doing the Sharpie drawings I was doing a few weeks back, but there are actually a couple horses in my neighborhood. I discovered them. I was walking kind of a while ago. They're on a route that I walk every week now, and it's kind of bizarre because I don't live in a very rural area. It's not where you'd expect to see horses, but they're there. I gave them some of the grass because in the area where they're fenced in, they can't get to any grass. I mean, they've eaten all the grass that's there, and they're eating out bales of hay. But any grass that grows in there, they eat right away. So I went over and gave them a little bit of the grass from outside the fence one time, and now I find anytime I go by, they look at me very expectantly. Hope I wasn't ruining their diet or anything. That's coming along. Hey, welcome, Rory. How's it going? Yep, still working on this horse. trying to be patient and build it up over time and not expect it to happen all at once. How are you doing today? Did you have a good day? Oh, thank you. Yeah, what I've been trying to do is I'm watching other streamers and trying to learn from their techniques. And Kid Slam does a lot of pencil drawings where he builds them up very gradually. So I'm trying to be a little more measured in my approach and go ahead and take it on for the long haul. I think he spends several days on a lot of his pieces, and he streams for longer than I usually do. So I certainly haven't taken it to his level, but I'm trying to learn something from it. Yeah, for the most part, pretty productive. Your day was pretty productive? That's good. What'd you work on? Well, thanks. I'm hoping to grow and learn a bit. Can't quite figure out the shading or the gradation down here. I guess it's really flat. I mean, it's a little brighter up there, so I guess that's what I need to do. And it just sort of stops abruptly down there, I guess. Lots of video editing. I'm almost finished with a time lapse for YouTube. Kind of lonely today, though. My boyfriend flew to Boston yesterday for a gaming convention. Ah. So all by yourself, huh? It sounds good, like you made good use of the day. Were you, so the time lapse, it sounds like you took was it from your stream? You took something you were working on and I don't know if I've seen, I don't know if I know about your stream. I'll have to check it out. That's great. I haven't done a time lapse yet. Mine would kind of be all over the place because I'm holding the paper and moving things around a lot, but no, not from the stream. I haven't started on Twitch yet, just footage from my camera. Oh, so you're recording but not streaming. So you post it to YouTube? Is that what I read? Yeah, YouTube. Cool. I'll have to check out your YouTube. Is there a link to your YouTube that you would want to share? You're welcome to post. It's looking a little bit better, I think. Yeah, haha, time lapse are really more difficult than you'd think. You have to work with your paper stationary the entire time, which can be testing. Huh. Yeah, I've noticed Kidslam does some where they're moving around a little bit, and sometimes that isn't terrible, but yeah, I figure I need to really fix things down. Actually, I'd like to fix things down just because it's kind of frustrating. Like right now, if I let go of this thing slides down, and you gotta kind of keep it on screen. And if I just had it fixed sort of in one place, but this is a little awkward right here. Yeah, need to shift that back up a little bit. Yeah, this would be really annoying in a time lapse, I'm pretty sure. Well, it's great you've got experience doing that. So if you're gonna start streaming on Twitch, you'll have it all. You have the setup all figured out beforehand. I haven't figured out that part yet. Oh, thanks for sharing. Here, let me pull it up here. Just a sec. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find my cursor. Videos. So which one were you working on today? Oh, that's 2 months ago. It's a year ago. Is it not posted yet? Oh, I've only done one other time lapse. It's the first video on my channel. So this one, okay. I'm gonna kill the audio.
Let's start by asking a heavy question. Who are we as a species?
Is this the time lapse? Oh, wrong one. Okay. Is it this one? Okay. Is it still, am I still looking at the wrong one? This looks like a time lapse though. Is this not it? You're saying good. Okay, so that's it.
As you saw, I am using an reference photo, although I'm not using it so much for the shapes or detail. I'm just going to use it for color reference. And so it'll help me get in my darker tones and lighter colors. Just kind of make sure it's the right shades so I get the same feeling. In the past year, I have.
So you shoot it over your shoulder.
But I'm on a mission to just do it for the fun. It kind of got a little bit monotonous for me, and for a long time I didn't really know why. It just seemed like something that I didn't want to do, and if I did, I was scared to do it.
I think the paint moves around quite a bit in this one, but
Live up to what I had previously created, and that was a scary thing because that requires a lot of energy and skill, and what if I'm a little rusty? So kind of got a little apprehensive.
it looks really good. I like the narrative. Usually they don't have a voiceover. It's at 2x. Oh, I should speed it up. Is there like a speed setting on YouTube? I guess I could skip around a bit. Oh, the cogwheel. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know. Oh yeah, there is. There's speed. Yeah. So this one was made a year ago, like you said. That was when I really dove back into my art. Awesome. Is this acrylic? It's really nice. I like the way the water has that like vibrant color to it. That is really nice. Oh, thanks for sharing. Yeah, that turned out really nice. I usually work with watercolor and gouache though. Oh, okay. Watercolor is really challenging for me anyway. It's hard to control. Oh, I better turn the tunes back on. Yeah, of course. It's fun to watch. Oh, I should have subscribed so I could. I'll go back so I get the update when you have the new one. I'll just do it right now. Subscribe. All right. Of course. Yeah, I really enjoyed how you talked over it. That's and sharing about your process and how you think about the art. The idea of not trying to just copy it, but sort of bring something out in the work, which sort of what I've been trying to talk about here is I'm doing this, but I feel kind of silly sometimes talking so much about that when I realize like, oh, I'm really just doing a very, literal photorealistic treatment of it. But I always say like the things I try to do when I'm drawing the animals, I try to do their eyes first and try to make sure that I'm bringing out the quality of the emotion that I'm seeing in it. And I try to emphasize whatever other features really are characteristic of the creature and what I'm feeling from the image. So I say that, but then I look at it and realize like, well, if I'm just going to be sometimes almost, like if I'm being too photoreal, I feel a little bit like I'm a, like a slow camera, or like I'm, just rendering it. But I feel like that's kind of a place that when you're trying to build up skill as an artist, and before you're ready to, like, I'd really like to do some more impressionistic stuff. Like, I'd also like to do a lot of imaginative stuff, things where I'm just drawing like right out of my head. But it's like it's a lot of work to get there. And I think that the skill that you build from doing this does help toward that. Yeah, absolutely. I use references heavily, and I agree. Sometimes you can think, this is really no different than a photograph. Yeah. Yeah, if I was just drawing and not streaming and talking about what I was drawing, I probably wouldn't notice. I would just do the whole thing and think, oh yeah, that's great. And people say things like, oh, it looks just like a photograph. And maybe then I'd realize, like, oh, really? But since I'm on stream and I'm talking about it, I'll actually talk through as I'm doing it. Like, well, I'm trying to bring out, like, the emotion I wanted to capture in this is, what did we call him? Merv. Merv looks a little like tolerant. He's got kind of this, he seems like he might be a little annoyed by something. He's kind of putting up with something. That's how I kind of read it. Maybe he's anxious. Maybe it's the photographer, or the presence of a human, or maybe it's just flies buzzing around him. But that's kind of what I'm getting from Merv. But something to me that's really meaningful during a realistic piece is the way I connect to the piece / subject. I think the connection, at least between you and the drawing, has a much deeper understanding than glancing at a photo. Yeah. I love the way you're portraying him. Thanks. Yeah, that's why I kind of like the name Merv, because it rhymes with nerve, and he seems a little nervous to me. Maybe it's just because I think, when I think of a horse, that I want to be careful not to spook a horse, and so maybe I just think that they're like that. But go. Yeah, there's a really good Merv, the nervous horse. Yeah. There's this really great example. Last week I actually got to my stream and started looking for the book, because when I was talking about this, it was either on Friday, or there's a chair in the background. I didn't mean to have that there. I wish I was going to sit in that, but it's pretty uncomfortable. This chair's a little more comfortable, but it's kind of wearing down. But yeah, I was looking for this book I have called Creative Illustration by Andrew Loomis. And he has this really good example where he shows an illustration, he shows the photo, and the qualities in the illustration are just like, it has this like luminous quality to it, this like this vibrance to it that isn't in the original photograph. The photograph has a lot of extraneous noise. There's some sort of like it's a model, and she's in a sort of a silvery top, a blouse, and the silvery top in the photo almost looks like foil. It doesn't look that good, but the way that he renders it in the illustration, And the point he was making, like in the caption, was that the camera sees. I think he had the caption: "The camera sees too much," and then over the illustration, he says the artist sees the right amount, or something like that. I don't think I have that quote right, but his point was that there's this filtering that happens as a artist that brings out something unique in the subject. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, I wish I had the example to show, but I have the book here somewhere. I need to pull it out before the stream next time, so I have it ready if I want to reference it anyway. I was thinking I might do some landscapes. Is that what you mostly do, Rory, is landscapes? But I might do some landscapes so I could do something with color. Yeah, I mean, you take a snapshot with your camera. It turns out kind of dull and scattered no matter the quality of your gear. Paintings, drawings, I think they capture better what we see with the eye. That's so true. Yeah, I got into photography for a little while. I still do a little bit of it, but it's always a disappointment. Like you see something when you look at a subject, and you can get the framing just right, but between the exposure and there's always something when you see it on the when you see it in the finished product, you're like, oh, the camera doesn't quite. There's like a bit of a gulf between what you'd want and what you get. Yeah, I do mostly landscapes. I'm in love with the earth. Haha. Nice. Well, I agree with that 100%. It's almost always a disappointment, at least until you do major editing. Yeah, I guess you can correct it in editing. I'd like to do like what I was saying about doing something more impressionistic. I've been watching Russell Stewart's series lately. He does, when I was doing pets, and before that he did some sort of like pop art figures from the 80s, like Doc Brown from Back to the Future and E.T. And anyway, what he did is I don't know, are you following Russell Stewart stuff at all, Rory? Because he does this thing where he'll draw someone's face, and he uses all these different colors that you don't see in the photograph at all. It looks very. Oh yeah, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have to explain it then. Yeah, I want to do something like that, but I feel like I got a long ways to go before I could try something that bold. And of course, I need to come up with like sort of a unique idea and vision to portray with it too. I don't want to just. I'm certainly not going to be trying to copy someone else's jam. Another thing I was thinking about doing is just drawing from prompts, you know, trying to learn to draw things out of my head a bit more. That would be fun. It'd be a little stressful on stream because, you know, yeah, I'm on the same boat. But I do really enjoy when someone can pull colors out of subject that you would never imagine are there. Yeah. I would love to see a stream of that. I doodle every now and then, but I'm on the less creative end on subject matter, thinking up my own drawing. Yeah, I have a book called something like 300 or 635 things to draw, and it has just each page has an idea on it. It's like they're blank pages and it has a word up in the corner. I don't actually draw in the book. I just have it for the ideas, but like one page was an anchor, another one was like a hammock. And I was doing those with my 3D sculpting for a little bit, and it was fun. In fact, the first stream I did on here was the anchor. But the more that I stream, the more you get kind of a sense of what is interesting to other people to see, and I think inanimate objects wouldn't be as interesting to people as animals. But eventually I'll probably get tired of this and maybe give that a shot again. Let's see, is that... I feel like I need a little bit more in here to really get that fur impression. So are you thinking about streaming on Twitch one of these days? Is that in your plan? Oh, I would love... Oh, that's the same last thing, right? Yeah, pretty soon here, hopefully. Yeah, there's like a little bit of setup to it. I was surprised at how much work it was really to get going, but it's like you get more. At first, I thought, oh, I just need a microphone and I'll be set. So I got a microphone, and I realized that the microphone wouldn't work unless I had this this mixer, and I'd have phantom power, and before I knew it, like it was cascading, and I thought, oh, I've invested so much. I might have never really gotten around to doing it, but I felt like I'd put so much effort into getting set up that I had to stream eventually. Do you do a lot of animals lately? Yeah, I've been drawing just let's see, I don't know if were you here for the yeah, it's ridiculous how many things you need that you'd never think about. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the previous ones, but we're here for the beta fish. Did you see this guy? I think you might have come in when I was doing this one, I'm thinking. But yeah, I did the beta fish, and I have a few different ones. I was drawing a... Oh, maybe the end. Thanks. And I did a bunch of... Thanks. Yeah, on my Instagram you can see I did a bunch of Sharpie drawings. I did some zebras and a tiger. Just kind of found that I think the reason I started zeroing in more on animals is because it's kind of interesting to try to bring out when I was working in the do you do white on black, or is that new to you? I've done it a bit in the past, but so it's not totally new to me. I actually I carry around a black notebook, like the notebook I use, like you using a moleskin at work. My for like design notes and stuff is black, and I use a white pencil on that or pen, and I draw with it sometimes. But this is the first series of sort of like finished drawings I've done with it. But before that, I was doing the Sharpie drawings I was doing beforehand. They were more interpretive, right? Because you're looking at like a photograph and you have to interpret it to figure out which lines you're going to use or which shapes you're going to commit to being black. And so I was having a lot of fun with, bringing out the character and the emotions in the animal. So now that I'm drawing more realistically, I realize that it's not quite the same as when I was doing that. Oh, thanks. Yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, so I've got a little bit of hair to do here. Yeah, those were fun. I actually kind of missed doing those. It could be a little stressful to commit to ink on stream. This is a little more chill by comparison. Oh, thanks. I was thinking about making the raccoon into an emote. I thought it would be a good lurk emote, but he really is more curious than he is. But that's kind of what lurking is a little bit, right? It's like they're curious, but kind of their distance. I may do that. Yeah, yeah. That was a fun one. That was a pretty fast one too. That was the thing. The thing I liked about doing the Sharpie drawings is they just went really fast. I could do the first couple nights I did them. I think I did maybe 20 to 30. Of course, none of them were that detailed. I had a few of them that turned out to be more. I kind of would slow down. I would go fast in the beginning, and then eventually I'd slow down and do one more detailed piece, depending on the piece, like the reference. I mean, if the reference really, if I looked at something and thought like, oh, this really needs to be more detailed. Let's see. There's so much more to do over on that back is going to take a while. I don't think I'll spend quite as much time. Like, I think having the fur feel like petable on the nose is important, but for the side, I think I don't know, I might go try to do it a little faster. Oops, let's see, I didn't work my way down to the nose, and then let's see. Feeling petable. Petable, that's is that a proper adjective? I guess not. That's kind of funny to say that to say feeling petable when well, it's the feeling I want the image to convey. I want it to evoke a sense of I want to pet that. Well, thanks. I like the thick outline on him. You're saying the way the highlight is thick around the edges of the face. Oh, you love the owl too. You're talking about the other drawing. I'm trying to remember. I think I did a couple of owls, but I think I only posted one of them. Yeah, owl outline. But on this one too, that statement is applicable. Huh. Good contrast. Oh, thanks. Let's see, this side here needs more light, I think. So when did you decide to start streaming? Well, last summer, it was my daughter's idea. She wanted to stream the video game Slither.io. And so we tried to get set up to stream then, and that was when we realized that we needed sound stuff. I didn't have a way of capturing sound. And so it kind of cascaded from there. It was her idea, but she's never gotten around to actually doing it herself. And then I started watching other Twitchers and getting ideas, seeing how people, and that was when I realized people were doing art on it. And I had some ideas kind of for a while. I wanted to do a stream just more about creativity, not so much just art, but about creativity, like ideation, coming up with ideas and developing them, and I wanted to do it on stream so I could share it with my son. I have a son who's in college, and I wanted to be able to share some ideas with him in a way I could do sort of, because I don't really, it's hard to line my schedule up with his, but I figured if I could post some content, he could show up live if he wants to and interact, or if he comes along later and watches later on, he'd get the idea. he's kind of interested in going into the same field I'm in, which is design. And so I was going to be talking a bit more about design process. But as time has gone on, I've kind of gotten more into, it's nice to have an outlet for drawing, so that's what I've been doing. I like that concept. Did you ever do that? Yeah, so my first, well, see, the very first stream I did was the just sculpting in VR, the anchor thing I mentioned. But then after that, I did a brainstorm, and it's gone now. But if you saw, like last week, I had a storyboard on the wall back there that I finally took down because I'm not still actively developing it. But what I did was I worked on an intro video for this channel. It was going to be all animated, and the idea was to be in. I was going to sculpt it in VR, and then I was going to animate it in VR too, using Tavori. I got pretty far into it, and I'd like to work on that again sometime, but I still have some problems I need to solve with streaming in VR. I need to be able to see the chat so I can carry on conversations with people, and haven't found a good solution for that yet. I hear there are some, but the one that I set up did not work. And then I did one stream where I was brainstorming ideas for animations to play when up in the corner when people, actually was it that corner, when people do subscribe or follow. And I didn't really come up with much then. I wrote down what I sketched and came up with some ideas, but I didn't really like anything I came up with then. But that's part of the creative process too, is, you know, sometimes you try and you figure out what you don't like. Oh, gotcha. I didn't mind the VR stream. It felt like we were all communicating pretty well, even though you couldn't respond immediately. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably do some more of it pretty soon. I do enjoy doing it. It's just not as relaxing as drawing, I think. It's a little bit more, well, part of the thing is I get a little motion sick in it. So I have to drink ginger tea and stuff. But there's so much potential stuff to do, and I'd like to get back to that project. But the other thing was I realized when I was doing the intro video, but I would be interested to see a storyboard format or idea development. Cool. Yeah, I think I will bring that back. The other part of the thing was, well, there were two other things. One is I actually made the stream intro that I have right now, and the style I ended up doing, since I was using video and made my own overlay for the timer, it ended up having a very different feel from what I would get if I was doing the animation. Like the animation I did, it's like the process that I followed was similar to the way I do design at work, is where I had an idea of something I was trying to do, and so I went and found a bunch of competitive and analogous pieces to evaluate for inspiration. And so I collected intros to different shows like The Simpsons and what were the other ones? Like the intro to even things like Bob Ross's channel, which is obviously an inspiration for what I'm trying to do. And who else? Mr. Rogers and Rick and Morty and Adventure Time. And so I went through and I captured still shots from that. And then I took notes of all the things that I liked the most about them, you know, what I wanted to emulate from them. And And then I just storyboarded a concept kind of straight ahead from that based on the ideas I was getting. And then I did a test sculpt so I would know what it was actually going to look like. And what else? I did a test animation in Tavori to see what that would look like. And then after I had the storyboard up back there, I did a critique where I just brought my family in. That's really cool. Hopefully you finish it up soon because I'd love to see it. You're still talking about the intro, right? Yeah, I'm talking about the intro. I had my kids and my mom was visiting, and I had her also go over it and make some comments and give me some input on it. So I made some changes because there were some things that didn't make as much sense. I could tell when they saw it what wasn't making as much sense. And also, the longer I lived with it, I sat with it up on the wall for a while. The longer I lived with it, the more I would see things that weren't working. And so I made some changes based on that and what they said. That's, I think, a big part of the creative process, especially with something like that or like design, is giving things time, to process it and to see how you feel about it over time. Because when you're coming up with an idea, you're kind of in love with it. It's your baby, and it's everything seems great, But you let a little bit of time pass, and then you look at it and you see it anew. So giving yourself the chance to see it anew is an important part of the creative process for me. Yeah, showing something to another person is really helpful because something might make sense to you because you develop it, but in reality it might not translate at all. Yeah, exactly. You learn a lot when, like, sometimes I like to think, like in design at work, people tend to think of it as, oh, we're designing a product, but you're not really designing the product, you're designing the experience of the product. So I usually think of it as though you haven't actually seen your work until you see somebody else experience it. Once somebody else is experiencing it, then that's what you want to iterate and make changes based on is the reality of people using it. Yeah, lol, but I hate it when I love something right when I finish, but 2 weeks later I hate it and so many things look off. Yeah. Well, I'd say the best solution for that. Why is this? Did I put this too far off? That seems kind of okay. Oh, it is too. I made him the horse is too skinny. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say I think the solution for that of making something and not liking it is to just keep making stuff. The more stuff you make, there's some chance to it. You just kind of have to just grind away at it and create so much stuff that you eventually can't hate it all. You're gonna end up making stuff that you really love. Usually I come back around to liking it because after I finish a painting, I usually don't go back into alter anything. Yeah. More opportunities. Yeah, exactly. Increase your opportunities for success by... Also, it's easier to not be too precious with it if you know you're